Of course, Aaron Day's here. Can I say, Aaron Day, of course, CEO of Amaze, our partner in Loft 100 Studios in a number of ways that we'll talk to you about in a minute. But I read your letter to shareholder this morning, and you and I can geek out on this. Most people don't geek out on this stuff, but the way you cleared your balance sheet is as impressive as what you guys do for a living. Because when you take over, people ask me this all the time, what makes a good CEO? And I'm not a good one. I'd be a good chief revenue officer. The rest stuff, because I couldn't do what you did and have the patience without, I'd be in prison because I'd kill somebody because it's so frustrating. When you walk into a rat's nest.
Second or third time, Sully.
Yeah. 3 strikes. When you walk into a rat's nest of a public company or any company, and you see all kinds of opportunity there in terms of value, great employees, great customers, but then you look and see how they got there, where they had to take scotch tape, staples, and a couple of paper clips, and suddenly you've got to unwind this mess. The first thing I think you have to do is start eliminating some of the debt, some of the liabilities, resolve the accounts payable, resolve the tax liabilities, and then concentrate on business growth all at the same time. It's not like you can go, okay, hold on, give me 6 months. That's crap. You got to do it at all the same time. How did you do that?
Exhausting.
Well, and I think Elon said it best, right? You know, CEO is the job that no one wants, right? You know, you do everything that no one else wants to do.
Sure.
I was telling my team this year about the Soapbox Derby. I don't know if you guys remember Soapbox Derby or not, but as a kid trying to build a car.
Yeah, this is the Boy Scout stuff,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you build this car that's going to roll down this hill in Akron, Ohio, and compete with all these other people. And of course, you've got this big block of wood, and you've got to figure out how to get this big block of wood with 4 wheels, and that's basically all you get to get down the hill as fast as possible, right? And so the first thing you do when you're thinking about building a Soapbox Derby car is you figure out how to get it as light as possible, right? And so my philosophy as CEO is that if we're going to be successful, then the business needs to be as light as possible. Yeah. And so when I got in and got under the hood and saw everything that was sitting there from the existing public company, my first focus was like, look, I don't want this to last forever. I want to get us to where we're as light as possible.
Sure.
We can move as fast as possible. And luckily for me, I have a great leadership team.
Sure.
And I looked at them and said, you guys got this over here for the next 6 months. This is what I want you to do. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to carry the water here, and I'm going to fix this. Yeah. And that's what we did.
And at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, you had $3 million of no debt liabilities, and you had another $5 million of tax liability and stuff out of the way. Then you raised $11 million.
Yeah.
Is when you go to capital markets for that, investment banks, hedge funds, private equity, family offices, how do you tell them, look, this is all our opportunity here, and oh, by the way, I'm fixing this black box of a mess over here at the same time. Is that part of the pitch when you go to do that?
It's part of the pitch, but in our case, it was probably 80% explaining what we do, right? Just over and over again. The amount of meetings I had from July, August through October, just telling people what we do and what we're going to do, and being consistent about it. And there was just that moment where finally it broke, right? Yeah. Finally enough people heard it. Random guys, like there's an investor from Meta who was in a meeting listening to a bunch of investor pitch decks, and soon as he started listening to me pitch, our stock started running.
Yeah.
And it was because he was buying.
Yeah.
Right? No way. He was buying, right? So I'm like, okay, I got something here, right? What was interesting, the pivot that came after months and months of just beating my head against the wall, was moving from an investor deck to showing the product.
Yeah.
And when I finally started showing the product to these investors and say, let me show you what happens, every one of them said, well, you know, I've got a kid doing this. I've got a nephew doing this. My wife's trying to do that, right? And they got it. It clicked, and then the doors opened, right? But in the beginning, just showing them the investor deck, they just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So it was just enormous amounts of legwork, travel.
So you didn't go in and saying, hey, we've got a big box hardware store idea. I think this is going to be awesome. You dealt with an age group, I'm assuming, across the spectrum, but everybody, the common denominator was, I either have the friend, the wife, the cousin, the son, or something who wants to do that, or you were probably talking to some young, whatever, 20, 30-somethings, they're like, absolutely, that's where we're going.
Here's 2 things. probably 80% of the people I met with were 50 plus.
Okay.
And so the first thing I had to ask them, do you have a social media app on your phone? Okay.
Yep.
Do you understand social media?
Yeah.
And if they said no, like funny thing is, I had a big investment bank pitching me to let them take over and be our banker. They gave me an analyst to meet with. The analyst comes walking in and he's got his huge resume, Shopify, all these people he covers. I'm like, what social media app do you have on your phone? I don't have any.
Oh, oops.
How are you going to understand our business
Right.
Yeah,
if
right.
you don't live in our business a little bit, right?
Right.
Exactly.
But then it's interesting is that the 20 to 30-year-olds that we met with, every single one of them didn't just say, hey, I'm interested in investing. Can we partner? And what's the most interesting about our business today is that every investor coming in the door that wants to be a partner of what we're doing has 2 or 3 other investments where they're like, we think Amaze will help my other
They
investments.
can utilize it, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because what you were saying, I mean, everybody has the desire to make money online. I mean, it just seems like the natural thing for everyone to be doing, whether you're a band, whether you're selling t-shirts, whether you're whatever business you're in, anyone can do it right now. It's like an open frontier for people, and you're helping them do it.
And there's so much support behind the movement to smaller communities, niches, micro groups coming
Yes.
together. You know, you would think that there's an army moving to fight the big conglomerates right now, because there's so much volume of media coming out saying, hey, we believe 2026 is going to be about this, and it's about the micro community. So I know we're not through it yet, but we've made huge progress in Q4. And I think as investors understand what we did and the work we went through, and just with such a lean leadership team,
Sure.
Yeah.
it's incredible. I mean, with the small amount of people we had, what we did,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of them. So
Talk about 2026, because you talk about it in your outlook and you talk about it in your letter.
Yeah.
And it's easy enough. Just look at AMZE as this ticker symbol. You can Google the latest news. But talk about some of the things that you're highlighting for next year, because it's pretty impressive.
yeah. So I'm the most excited about Moments AI because I'm seeing under the hood every day. I actually had our chief product officer make me a little live demo that I can use in a way that really shows an investor what a customer is experiencing. I'm the most excited about that because I think what it does is it's going to tremendously help that creator who comes on our platform who sells 1 can sell 3. They sell 3, they can sell 5. I think it's going to be an amazing accelerator for them, and the number of people having success on our platform is going to go up dramatically. So I'm very focused on Moments AI for 2026. It's one of my sort of strategic initiatives that it has to roll out and hit the masses in Q1. What's when we were talking about being a CEO, what's interesting is the volume coming at us from the food channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a VIP ticket to go to an LA Times event up in Hollywood at the Palladium, the 101 best restaurants.
Oh.
And so I walked around with a couple of our leaders and one of our partners, and I just went up to like 10 random chefs, people that I like the most, the food I like the most, and said, hey, would you like to be on the food channel? They stopped everything.
Yeah, sure.
And they're like, how soon?
Yeah.
Have you ever created content before? And they were like, yeah. And before I could leave, they had one of their people running up to me, giving me something special, saying, please don't forget us. We would like to be on the food channel.
Yeah, right.
So this excitement growing around this new content distribution medium, the food channel, coming in 2026 is also something that I'm looking forward to. On the macro side, it's going to be a very interesting year because media is being compressed. No matter what you read today, whether Netflix buys Warner Brothers or
Yeah, that's the deal
or
of the century you're talking about right now.
Paramount buys Warner Brothers or some other entity buys Warner Brothers, the compression of premium content is creating an opportunity for unique grassroots content to displace it at scale, right? And so we're sitting there right in this perfect moment where we have commerce and we have this new content engine, and so it's going to be very interesting to watch what happens next year, right? So
I think what's interesting also is you have different factions of what's going on. You have Cast also. Yeah. Cast is pretty exciting if you think about the capability of that. But also just the content playground that you're creating for anybody selling from chapstick to George Foreman grills is how I describe it. And the numbers are growing as soon as people start figuring out. You know, you talk about the gig economy, the side hustle. The ultimate side hustle is to be able to do something like this from home on top of whatever else you're doing. And as for the creators, it's not just about fame, it's about real revenue.
It's really about revenue, right? There, you know, I think I told you in one of the previous shows we had that like 95% of creators don't make enough money to exist. You know, they're making, so they need to make more money. But you're feeling it. You're feeling the market come together. We're past the COVID winter. It's coming right now. So
do creators find you, or you find them, or both?
that is probably the number one question I got asked by investors in all of 2025.
No kidding.
Okay. How do we get discovered? And so I spent a lot of time explaining to people our core strength of integrations. You probably saw the press release this week that we just partnered with a new company called OpenWave AI. OpenWave is building really cool new technology to compete with Spotify, really next generation Spotify. So we focus so much attention on putting our software where we know there's volume content.
Because you're on YouTube already,
We're on YouTube.
right?
We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Twitch, Discord, all these different platforms. I don't know if you saw that Adobe pushed us into India, so we just had a big expansion into India with Adobe. We're on this platform called PixArt, which has like 150 million app users. So we do a lot to get people to discover us at a very low cost. But what's really interesting is that the referral part of it is very steady. I mean, people just saying, "Hey, I did this with Amaze," or "I did this with Spring by Amaze." It's really steady. So
you're not in that area of, you know what, you guys, we need a Super Bowl commercial. I mean, the word is getting out by the non-traditional. You said referral, or people, hey, check out this, or the way we're all interconnected now with technology and social media and stuff. The word is getting out as quickly as you want.
The word's getting out. I would love a Super Bowl commercial. Because I think there's an opportunity to empower anyone to sell something and create extra income. But what's really interesting is our VP of data read a stat to me. She said, "Aaron, I don't think there is a single adult human being in the United States with a credit card that hasn't bought something from one of our stores.
Yeah.
They just don't know it's an Amaze store yet, right? Mm-hmm. They look at it as a creator store, as a small business store,
Sure.
but they have come into our stores.
Sure.
So to take that piece and connect them, and how we do that is why we're all chatting so much, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure what the right story is to tell them, because maybe they don't care who powers the store that they bought it from.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. At the end of the day, where does your focus lie in terms of overall? I mean, do you go where the revenue is? Do you go where, because the wind shifts a little bit as this thing, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, you're going to get a wave of content creators maybe suddenly. Suddenly, you know, now you got to shift in this direction. How do you figure that out?
So we've been, since September 2021, our team has had this focus on, let's build something that allows the masses to monetize, right? You know, empower anyone to sell anything anywhere with simple tools that connect. That's been our core strategy. What's really interesting right now is that the number of larger companies, brands coming through the door that want to work with us is going to create a really unique pressure for us next year, because we are not set up to handle Fortune 500 companies. We're set up to handle masses of people coming in and self-serving, right? So my strategy for next year is to keep this team. Keep this team.
When HP wants to come in, start selling printers.
Yeah.
It's a different story.
It is. Right?
Or listen, or Tesla.
Yeah.
Or the old gateway model's coming back as well in terms of gateway, in terms of how they're selling computers and such. So.
Well, you know, when Kim Kardashian calls me and says she wants us to sell Skims, you know, it's going to be a hard thing to think about, right?
Aaron,
Can't say no to that.
It's great to partner up with you. I can't wait to
Oh
see
my
what 2026 is going to be.
So exciting.
And good for you, man. I'd love to see what's happening there. And if people want to get involved, they just go to amaze.com, right?
Yes. Amaze.co.
White.co, CO, exactly right.
Aaron Day, CEO, Amaze, ticker symbol AMZE. Again, that website, amaze.co.